In the early start of the world, before there was land and water and any other living creature, there was only the gaping abyss of Ginnungagap, the dark layer between the land of elemental fire, Muspelheim, and the homeland of elemental ice, Niflheim. The lava from Muspelheim and the frost from Niflheim moved ever closer, and they eventually met in the abyss. When ice began to melt, the droplets themselves formed Ymir, the first frost giant ever formed. Ymir was capable of reproducing asexually, and as he slept, the sweat from underneath his arms formed 2 more giants. A third was later born, creating the first family of giants known as the Jotuns. Then, from ice Audhumla, the first cow was formed. Her milk would keep Ymir and the other giants alive, and in return, the cow would be nourished by the blocks of ice. Audhumla's licks will then uncover Buri, the first god of the Aesir realm. Buri would then have a son called Bor, who would marry Bestla, the daughter of the giant Bolthorn. They later would have 3 half-god, half-giant children. We know them as Odin, Vali, and Ve. Odin and his brothers were concerned about how quickly the giants could be reproduced. As they severely outnumbered the Aesir, the 3 brothers decided that their only option was to slay Ymir, so they waited till the giants slept before they began their assault. With all their strength, the brothers were able to overpower and slay Ymir. Ymir's blood, which splotted from his body, formed rivers, and these rivers drowned all but 2 giants. The surviving giants, Bergalmir and his wife, fled to the misty land we now know as Jotunheim. The 9 realms we know, in Norse mythology, were created from the remains of Ymir's body. Odin and his brothers dragged his body into the abyss, and the 9 worlds were created. His blood formed rivers, his flesh and muscles became land. Vegetation was formed from his hair, clouds from his brains, mountains from his bones, and his skull formed the sky. Ymir's skull would cover the entire new world, and the gods placed sparks from Muspelheim inside of the skull, which would illuminate the world as stars. They built Asgard on the plains of Yggdrasil, which became the home of the gods, far away from Jotunheim, where the giants were allowed to live. The gods eventually formed the first man and woman from trees. These humans were to live in Midgard, and a fence was built around them to protect them from the giants of Jotunheim. When Ymir's body started to rot, the dwarves were formed. The worms that crawled out of the remains became dwarves. The gods became worried that Ymir's rotting body would cause the sky to fall. They sent 4 dwarves, 1 in each direction, to hold up the sky. These dwarves were named after the cardinal directions: Nordi for north, Sudri for south, Vestri for west, and Austri for east. The remaining dwarves made their home underground and in caves located in Svartalfheim. After a while, there was a man who had 2 children so bright and luminous that he named them Sul and Mani. The gods were angered by the man's arrogance, and so they took both children away from him. They placed both of the children in the sky, and they would become the sun and moon. The Norse myth of creation is one that has many conceptual meanings behind it, one of the most prominent being that life comes from death. started with the slayer of Ymir. The giants then will never stop dragging the world back to chaos, and at the end of the world, they do succeed during the Ragnarok. If you like the video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment. It helps the channel to grow.